You are listening to Visionaries Wrestling Network, providing your perfect podcast experience.
Okay, this is the Mgb review for Final Battle 2019 from the University of Maryland. I think it's Baltimore campus. I think that's what UMBC stands for. And yeah, we talked about going to this a few weeks ago. I saw it was actually there. We nearly went last year, I think it was. And seats were about $25. When you included fees, it was about $40 each. And parking was $15, but I was like, hey, it's a pay-per-view. Like that's probably going to be pretty cool. We talked about it, and we didn't actually buy tickets. I looked to see if I can get them online from TickPick, and there was a few deals, so we just kind of held off on it. Then it started, you did your wrestling club, and it looked like you had something on Friday. Yeah. So it looked like I might be going by myself, if I can find a ticket. Single ticket's really difficult to come by. You can get one on the floor, but it was like $100. I was like, well, I don't really want that. And then it was actually cheaper to buy 2 seats and throw 1 seat away, not even using it. And they were about, I don't know, about $20 each. I was like, I could do that, but I don't particularly want to. The day of the event, I saw they were $14 each. I was like, tempting. And then just as school was about to close, I saw they were $8 each. I was like, I'm going. I'll pay $16 happily. And I actually called your school about half an hour before you were about to close and say, hey, do you want to go? Do you have to do this wrestling thing? I didn't know how important it actually was. And you were like, yeah, I want to go to Ring of Honor. So we did. Your bus was really late. I kept waiting. I was like, where is he? You were back like 15 minutes later than normal. So I was like, oh, perhaps he's just waiting at school for me.
It's going to be like that all the time.
Yeah, so I didn't know. So I drove down and got to the end of the street, and then your bus pulled up at that point. So you literally jumped straight into the car. Probably around 3:30, which is kind of bad for DC traffic, and it did. It took us a while. We probably drove for just over 2 hours. We got onto the main stretch towards Baltimore. We're probably just under half an hour away at that point and got food.
And the thing was, I couldn't use the bathroom, and I haven't used the bathroom since 9:30, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, as soon as you come in, I was at a list, I was going to say, all right, go to the bathroom, get changed, get a snack, get a drink, and I had to hold it, make sure you got your notepad, and that was the other thing, you didn't have a notepad either, and I don't know why I didn't pick up a notepad. I was thinking you'd have your school stuff, and I was assuming you'd have something in there. Anyway, I'm assuming you had some paper in your bag.
No.
You don't carry paper?
I carry it in my binder, and I leave my binders in my locker.
Oh, okay. All right, well, that kind of makes sense then, I guess. So, yeah, we just kind of went up there on the fly. While I was waiting for you to arrive home, I downloaded the tickets. I had to charge my phones up because it was all electronic details, so we got that there. We stopped at Wendy's, probably like I said, about half an hour out. The rest of the journey was fine. It was raining, but it wasn't particularly difficult. It was just that first stretch is so difficult.
Yeah.
We got there. I knew doors opened at 6. I knew there was meet and greets at 6. And the pre-show started at 7. And the actual show itself started at 8 o'clock. And I'd actually looked. I thought some of the meet and greets were pretty good. Like Marty Scurll, Flip Gordon, the Briscoes. There was another tag team as well who I can't remember. And,
was it?
Oh, I know. I think it was Gresham and Jay Lethal, but I already have John Gresham's autograph, so it was kind of redundant for that. I knew we probably wouldn't get there by 6 anyway, just because of the traffic. But yeah, prices for the singles were $30, and for the tag teams it was $40. But for that, you got an autographed item provided by Ring of Honor, or you could get something you wanted yourself autographed. So you could take, like, I don't know, a piece of wrestling memorabilia and they'd sign it for you, or like, you know, like the Mick Foley thing, like the Pop Funko, they could sign something like that if you wanted, and a picture. Considering VCW charged $40 for some of their, I would say, average stars, $50 for some of their like Hall of Fame stars, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan and that. I thought they were pretty reasonable actually. And yeah, we arrived at 7. I was like, well, it's too late. I'm not even going to think about it. We got in through the door, and I was like, oh, there's a Briscoes. The Briscoes were like right in the auditorium area, and they were kind of, I guess they were still doing a few meet and greets. It might have been the last few. We just wanted to find our seats because we could hear the entrance music going on. So we knew the first match was actually about to start at that point. Yeah. So we found our seats because you asked like, how big's the crowd? I was like, well, it's nowhere near as big as like Capital One Arena. You had been there before, but you didn't remember it. And I think he must have been about 4 years old because I know there was a mascot, the retriever, I can't remember his name, and you really wanted a high five from him, and he wasn't there at that basketball game. So I know you'd been there before, so I knew the size of it. I said, look, it's more like George Mason Arena, so that gave you a good idea. And I said, imagine you're on the corner, about 6 rows. We were close. Yeah. We were a lot closer than we were for AEW Dynamite. And I liked it that we were on the edge as well. We had seats 1 and 2, so I could put my legs out into the stairs if I needed to stretch out a little bit. And at the start, there wasn't many people there, which it was pre-show. And also, traffic was brutal.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised it took some people. If you leave work at a regular time, we're lucky. I left at 2:20, I think it was. You got home by 3:30. Not everyone can do that. So we were kind of lucky that we could do that. Now, I didn't know, we don't really follow Ring of Honor at all. I'd been to their partial show at G1 Supercard. And anyway, I looked up Mason. I got a little bit of information here. The one thing I did know was there's like two different events. There's also an event on Sunday, which is going to be at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. That's where they used to do the, I was going to say UC dub.
EC dub.
EC dub, thank you. Man, I keep getting that mixed up now. And I think that one, it says they're breaking up and they're going to show it on TV. Also, some of the things that we didn't know. Then we knew that PCO was going to be fighting in the main event against Rush. I didn't know why, so I know the story for that now. He won an 8-man single elimination tournament to determine the number 1 contender for the title at this event. PCO defeated Kenny King in the first round, Dalton Castle in the semi-finals, and then his Villain Enterprises stablemate, Marty Scurll, in the final. I bet that would have been a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look that one up, actually. See if we can actually find that. So, you didn't take notes. I don't really take notes anymore. On my phone, I said, I'm just going to write down the order of the matches. And I'm glad I did, because the website I'm looking at right now just has a list of the matches, but it doesn't have them in the correct order at all, except for it knew that PCO was going to be the main event. So, the first pre-show event then was Dalton Castle and Joe Hendry versus Silas Young and Josh Woods. Alright, confession time, I only knew Dalton Castle. I think I've heard of Silas Young, but I haven't heard of any of the others at all.
Yeah, I've only heard of Dalton Castle.
And I don't think you reckon, because you were asking, like, which one's Dalton Castle? And I was like, wait, that one, I'm in the corner. And you're like, the one that's nearest to us or one that's further? And I was like, no, it's this one. So I recognised him because he actually has a cool little YouTube page that I watched for I've tried to get into Ring of Honor multiple times. It's never quite happened. Even after G1 Supercard, I was like, oh, I'll probably get into it now. Yeah, it never really happened again. All right, what do you remember from this match?
Not much.
I'm glad you're going first, and you don't have any notes to fall back on.
Dalton Castle lost.
I don't even have the results, actually, on this one. I probably picked totally the way... I think you're right, because I remember seeing them on the floor as they were leaving. All I can remember was, at this point, I was posting a few tweets like, hey, we got here, and there wasn't many people there at the time, but that didn't really surprise me. How amazing the seats were. Oh, I missed one important thing. As we were about to walk into our seats, I saw Savage Gentleman was there. So I was wearing a cap, which I don't normally do. So I don't know why I thought this was important. I took my cap off and tried hiding behind it so he couldn't see my face or anything. And then as we got close, it was like, pancakes suck. Because I knew we wouldn't expect it. It was worth I posted on Twitter, it was worth a 3-hour drive just to bombard him with a heckle that he wasn't expecting. And he kind of looked at us, and he was with a couple of wrestlers at the time who I didn't recognise, and he kind of pretended that they were restraining him as we went in. He's like, anyway, we talked about it later. He's like, oh, you're lucky the people were restraining. I asked him who they were, and he said it was I think it's the Voros brothers, because they were identical.
Yeah.
You could tell that. I don't think I've told you this. While you were out this morning, I started catching up on all the wrestling I missed. I watched Beyond Wrestling. They were on Uncharted Territory this week.
Oh.
If I'd actually watched that ahead of time, I would have known who they were, and I probably would have gone up and said hi to them if I'd have realised who it was. But it's kind of embarrassing if you don't know who they are. Hey, mystery wrestler. Nice. I could have gone up and said, hey, I saw your match on Uncharted Territory. It was really cool. They faced another pair of identical twins. I can't remember the name of the other team, though, but the last name was similar to a famous wrestler. So, yeah, that was something at the start. We saw a lot of Savage Gentleman, actually. Mm-hmm. He was watching a lot of the matches. He would be, like, ringside, or he'd be kind of near where we were, near the bleachers. He'd kind of looking across to see what was going on. So, yeah, I forgot we saw him. Yeah, I don't remember much else in the first match. I know I was talking about that, and... yeah, no, I don't think I have anything else for this one. This might be where I should probably go and look up the actual results then, because I don't think I have all these results. Alright, match 2. We said this was just going to be a shortish review anyway, but we enjoyed the event so much that we wanted to do something. Alright, second match was Rhett Titus versus Kenny King.
Oh, Titus, he kissed his baby a lot, and then Kenny King, he keeps torturing the baby, like teasing him and stuff.
When he had that advantage.
Yeah.
And I know Kenny King had, I don't know if it was his manager, but there was some woman
that was his
with
wife.
him as well. Oh, that was his wife?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was like his ring manager. It might have been, or it might have been his girlfriend,
Also.
or... I can say, we don't know the backstory for any of this, but yeah, his baby was certainly there. I noticed with the baby, it had massive headphones on. You know those sound-reducing headphones or whatever? Because I guess it's a loud event. They do have fireworks there as well.
Yeah.
That was something that I didn't know, necessarily. You also saw that there was fire at certain points as well, which you really liked. So it was kind of a loud atmosphere. And, yeah, I guess the baby would eat it. I did notice for the next match, I didn't see them there anymore. I think they were there just for that match, and then I think they were gone. They probably went backstage or something, because it was probably too loud. For the baby looked like under 12 months, as far as I could tell. It was, like, really small. Like, it wasn't walking around or anything. You had to kind of hold it, so
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was under 12 months. So, yeah, I think it was there for the storyline, and then that was it. Alright then, I'm trying to remember. I'm guessing Rhett Titus won this one then. Seeing as he was the face.
He lost.
He lost? So they let Kenny King, who was being the bad guy, actually win this one?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, alright. I honestly do not...
I think.
This is going to be the least informed thing. Oh, we should say right away, I don't think I've actually looked on Twitter yet today. I know Super Kicking It with Kelsey was going to do a live review after the event. She was watching it at home, and then she was going to talk about it. If you want the actual details, you're probably better watching that. We're going to give little insights of things that we noticed when we were there. But, yeah, we didn't write anything down, and... I obviously picked out the wrong little list to look at. I guess when we get to the main event, as we get to the main card, actually, I think I do have all the matches written down, so I can probably look somewhere else for that one. Yeah. Alright, match 3. Jeff Cobb versus Dan Maff. Now, we saw Jeff Cobb at Alpha 1. You actually got to meet him, because that was the one I was like, you need to meet Jeff Cobb. Because you were like, who's that? I was like, no, trust me, you need to meet... Because you even said, he's on the pre-show? I was like, I'm kind of surprised about that as well. Because I know he was world champion for a while. I don't remember how long ago. Jeff Cobb's amazingly strong. I shouldn't say too much, so I should let you go first.
So, him and Dan Mav look really, really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan, he does a scuba dive.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jeff Cobb, he superplexes him.
Mm-hmm.
Except Dan is on the apron. He
Mm-hmm.
lifts him up and then suplexes him.
He suplexed him back into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That looked really... I remember posting that as a tweet. I was like, oh my gosh, what an amazing suplex.
Then,
The unfortunate thing was, as I tweeted it, he just did a suplex inside the ring that wasn't that good. I should have been more specific. My tweet didn't look very good.
and then Jeff Cobb, he did a standing moonsault.
Mhm.
And then that's all I remember.
I think the thing that I think most about these two guys is they're both big guys, and it always surprises me how much they're actually capable of doing. And I think that surprised me when I was in Alpha 1 as well. I guess I shouldn't be surprised right now, because Keith Lee on NXT is like 280, 300, whatever he is, and he does all that stuff as well. But he's like an exception to the rule. But when you see two guys together both doing that stuff, I thought it looked really impressive.
When a Heavy Machinery does that. Or one of the War Raiders.
Oh, they do, yeah.
Vincent.
I guess that's probably not such a big thing anymore then. I guess in terms of the amount of wrestling I've been watching, the number of years, it's very recently that the big guys have been able to do stuff to that level. So I guess for you, watching it for a shorter period of time, perhaps it's not so impressive to you, because there is so many people who... Samoa Joe's another good example. Yeah, you're right. I hadn't even thought about Samoa Joe. Yeah, but it's rare to have two guys like that together in the same ring, though. All right. Jeff Cobb lost this one, right?
I believe so.
I think he lost. I think he was on the floor afterwards. Or did he?
No,
or was
no,
he
he won.
injured? He won, but I think he was injured. Because there was one. Was this the one where they brought the stretcher out?
No.
Oh no, they had the ice pack. They put the ice pack on his shoulder, right? Yeah, so as he was trying to... I think he had the ice pack on his shoulders. He was trying to raise his hand. Josh Woods and Silas Young did indeed defeat Dalton Castle and Joe Hendry, so we got that one right. Kenny King, you were right, defeated Rhett Titus. He was with Amy Rose. We've heard that name. I remember when we had the people with all the roses. Remember we had Dean Ambrose, we had Nyla Rose, and Aspen Rose. I remember seeing Amy Rose, but I didn't realise that's who that was.
Rose?
Adam Rose, of course, as well. Yes, Jeff Cobb did defeat Dan Maff on this one. Oh, I'd forgotten that right at the end as well. Because they were having a strong battle the whole time. Like, they were offering to, like, shake hands or something, and I don't think they did. They gave they did, like, a push to each other, and, I think they gave a chop to each other, and then they shook hands at the end. Which I thought was I thought that was really good. I liked the way that they finished that one, and then they both rolled out the ring for This was like getting towards, because you asked on that match, you're like, is this the main card yet? And I was like, no, it's still like 7:53. So I knew this was still on the pre-show. I think it was a good one, because you were like, why would they put that on the pre-show? I was like, because that tells you, if this is the pre-show, think how amazing the actual show is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first match proved it straight away. If we'd have left after 3 pre-show matches and 1 regular match, I would still have been happy, actually, because the next match was an absolute belter. Bandido and Flamita versus Marty Scurll and Flip Gordon. It says with Brody King. I don't remember Brody King being ringside.
He didn't. He wasn't.
It says on here, he said Flip Gordon came out with Brody King.
Mm-mm.
I don't remember that at all. Alright, anything you remember from this one, Mason? I know there was so many flips and stuff.
So, I forgot who Bandido's partner was.
Flamita. I had to look that one up just now because I didn't know who that was.
Flamita, he tried to go on Bandido's shoulders
Mhm.
and then do like a dive onto the Marty Scurll and flip, but then he fell.
What's Marty's last name?
Scurll.
Oh, I didn't think you said that.
Marty and flip.
I thought you said Marty Scoodle. That's what it sounded like. Okay, sorry, carry on.
So, but then he fell and then he still got it though.
Mm-hmm.
Like he fell down and then he had to get back up and then do it.
He tried it, yeah, he kept going. It was a bit of a botch, but at that point, they'd done so many big moves that it was like, I'm kind of forgiving you on this one. And I think they were just trying to push so hard, and the moves they were trying were so difficult, that it wasn't surprising that not every single one of them was going to work out. But the moves before, the number of oohs and ahs, and both teams worked great. I think my comment was for this one, fight forever. It's like, I could have quite happily just watched this one.
Yeah, it was a long match, but I remember that it was very good, but that's all I kind of remember.
Yeah, there was so much going on. I think if you had been writing this down, I think you'd have had a problem because there was so much going on. They just constantly went from one move to another move. I do remember right at the start, actually. I think the opening pair was, I think it was Bandido and Flip Gordon.
Yeah.
Like they would chop each other, knock them down, and then they would flip straight up again, like Orange Cassidy does, and then the other one would do a chop to them,
Except
and then they
not
went
their
down.
hands in their pockets.
Yeah, and without the hands, but it's still kind of impressive. And then they kind of did chops to each other at the same time, knocked each other down, and they both did a flip. It was so choreographed, but it looked brilliant.
I remember something before this whole match.
Okay.
So Shelley, he came out and then he said he was talking about that the best technical wrestler wasn't on the card and he didn't have a match.
Mm-hmm.
And then the best technical wrestler, he set up a match against Shelley.
He did, and we were excited by that, because I actually mentioned this to, I think I mentioned this on Good Cop, Bad Cop, or it might not have made the final edit, but I mentioned the fact that you get presents, wrestling presents from your grandma in England. Yeah. Like, with your birthday being in January, it's a long time till Christmas, so you get something each month, something a little bit smaller, and you've had wrestling t-shirts, you actually had Ring of Honor DVDs. You know more about Ring of Honor than I do, but I know that's like 4 or 5 years old Ring of Honor now, and this time it's going to be autographs. Basically, of people we've seen at wrestling events who we would like to have got autographs from and either not been able to afford, they haven't turned up, or whatever. And, or also some really cool wrestlers as well who you've seen on TV, but you haven't had the chance to get autographs from. Yeah. And one of the smaller ones came through, so I gave you that one a little bit earlier. But yeah, it was Colt Cabana. I didn't even think about it. I have a Colt Cabana shirt.
You do?
Yeah, I bought it a couple of months ago. And I didn't even think about it. I don't remember. I haven't worn it yet. I'd totally forgotten about it. I think it needs ironing. I think I just put it in a pile that needed ironing. And every time I do my ironing, it's like, that's the least important thing. I just do the stuff I need, and then I don't need that, so I always leave it. I wasn't even thinking Colt Cabana was going to be there. I totally forgot that he was on the commentary team. So, yeah, that was one of your little presents that you got. So that was kind of cool that we got to see him there. And I know you got a high five from him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a picture of it somewhere, I think. But I think I had to take the picture. I think I had to take the picture from the Alpha One. Yeah, I think I had to take it from the Alpha 1 TV show, though. I think I had to film. I don't think I got a picture. I think I did a screenshot of that. I think I took a picture of the TV. I've froze it with him giving you a high five, because I don't think I had that angle. Oh. Or if I did, I didn't get a good angle. Or I didn't think I did, anyway. It says on here, everything looks spectacular here, but the match itself was a sprint, which some fans will love and other fans might not. Well, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I definitely want to know more about Bandido and Flamita. I didn't care who won. I genuinely didn't. Because you're like, who do you want to win? I was like, I don't care. In the middle, I was like, I like both of these. I really love Marty Scurll's entrance.
Yeah.
I know for regular fans, it would have been like, we've seen it all before. Like, I know he's in Villain Enterprises, but to actually see that was really cool. And Flip Gordon, I know him now just from being the Elite, because I've started to watch those. But I don't really know him very well. So, yeah, no, for me, I thought this was a really cool one. Alright, next match we have Vincent and Mattaven in a grudge match.
Vincent is like the Fiend.
We didn't know who Vincent was.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew who Mattaven was. I did because I've listened to his podcast.
I heard of his name, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's when we figured out that there was blood.
Oh, yeah, there were some weird things, and I actually wrote down a couple of notes for this one. Yeah, blood was one of them. During the promo where they do, I like the fact that on the screen, they sort of played the history of the match like they do on pay-per-views for WWE, because we don't know the history. They bleeped out something that one of them said. Because I was like, but then the crowd, there was a few F words from the crowd. I think this was F off Taven, I think, was in this match.
And then a couple fans started chanting, "I can't see S word."
Oh, okay.
And then I think that was the other stuff.
But yeah, it's kind of confusing that they would bleep out an F word. I don't know if that's because it goes out on TV. Perhaps crowd noise is different because you can't control that. I don't know. And you can turn levels down on crowd noise as well. So I don't know if that makes a difference. But the fact that they allow blood as well, which, it's very different from WWE.
There was one more thing we forgot. So they were throwing out streamers.
Oh, right at the start, yeah, because that's the thing that and I have streamers in the car. I don't think we could have thrown them because we were too far away, probably.
And then they put them in a trash can so you could reuse them if you just want to take them out of a trash can.
You could just grab them and roll them.
Yeah.
I saw one of the guys was rolling. Oh, well, that's the other thing that I forgot then. Yeah. During the pre-show, I recognised one of the people who was ringside and was pulling out the streamers. Saul Esparza from EWA was there. I tweeted that I said, wow, Saul Esparza's got a great seat. Do you want to switch? And a winky face, because obviously he was working. He actually said later, he said, I was more worried that I was going to get killed by Bully. Bully Ray was also in one of these matches as well. So there were some crazy points in some of these matches.
We saw somebody else before we even came in the entrance.
Oh, we actually saw the person that does the Twitter feed for EW. It was raining, so I kind of keep my head down, and he was handing cards out, and I was like, well, I don't normally grab one, but I was like, it's probably a wrestling thing, so I grabbed it, and we looked, and I was like, oh, we're actually going to be there. And then he kind of called after, because you were like, he looks familiar. I was like, he does look familiar. And then he was like, is it? I think he said, is it Graham? And then we came back and he's like, oh, you guys do the podcast? And I was like, yeah. I was like, we're going to be there. So we talked to him. And then he said that he ran the Twitter feed. So, yeah, I know that EWA is really good at liking tweets, and we kind of interact quite a bit with those guys. But yeah, we're looking forward for that Rage in a Cage match. And every match is in a cage. And he said that people were like, whoa, every match is in a cage? That's really cool. And I was like, yeah, that was us a year ago.
I mean, it makes sense, because if you're getting a cage, why not do it?
I agree. If you're going to do it, why not? Why not just put everyone in there? And they came up with a good variety of different matches anyway last year, so that will definitely be a future review.
My favorite one was
sure.
In and Out.
That was the first one. That was like a pre-show almost.
That
Yeah, no, I thought it was. I thought that was pretty good. I'm trying to remember specific things about this match. Then I'm really struggling. I don't remember. I know they went straight to the outside. I know they're on the outside a lot of the time. I seem to remember them stepping into the crowd as well. I'm trying to remember what things they grabbed from the crowd, unless they were just fighting on the outside and then they came back.
Yeah.
Oh, I know the other thing. I know the other thing that I'd forgotten about this, and this was actually from the previous match. I was like, why is Jeff Cobb not trying to get in the ring? He's going to get counted out. I forgot it's a 20 count and not a 10 count. Because it was at like 9, and he's not even moving. And then 10, I was like, oh, that was a quick match. 11, 12... Oh, that's right. So I kind of forgot that side of it as well. I think AEW does that as well now, actually.
And MLW. Mattaven, he dived over the barricade onto Vincent.
Okay.
What's his name?
Vincent, yeah.
Okay. And then and he was like outside of the barricade, and he dove over the barricade onto him. Mm-hmm. And then Mattaven got an axe, and then tried to hit Vincent with it, but Vincent, he pinned Mattaven before he could even hit him. So, and then somebody attacked Mattaven after the match.
Alright, let's see if I can find that part on here. They did say one more thing. There was a brutal suplex onto the concrete, and it did sound really loud, because I was looking like, oh, is that mats down? Because we were trying to look at the different the surfaces, so I knew they were on the outside for that. It says here, after the match, the recently signed Bateman attacked Taven from behind and put him down with a tombstone pile driver. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure who that is, but it says it looks like that could be a heel tag team going forwards. That would probably make sense. Okay, match 3 of the main card then is Bully Ray versus Mark Haskins in a street fight. Now, we obviously know who Bully Ray was. I've heard of Mark Haskins. I don't really know anything else. I wouldn't, like, if you asked me to pick him out ahead of time, I don't think I could have picked him out. Okay, I'm sure you remember things from this match, because obviously we know Bully Ray.
Yeah. So, I like his podcast, Bully Ray's.
Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Right at the start. So, as Bully Ray came down, he ran down the ring, kind of immediately started going into a street fight. And he got, like, the piece of wood with all the barbed wire on it, and he had it to the side where the barbed wire was faced away. The woman ran straight into the piece of... I had no idea what was going on. That was the weirdest thing ever. Like, nobody pushed her into her. Nobody slammed into her. She could see it. From our angle, it looked like she just ran straight into the piece of wood. That was really random. I'm assuming that was his wife, because it says his wife was Vicky Haskins. And I think that sounded like that's how the feud actually started. I think, wasn't he talking trash about his wife or something?
And his kids. And
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
And Bully Ray's podcast is busted open, and I really like it.
I haven't listened to it. I think I mentioned to you as we were driving up there. Like, I've heard people talk about it.
There was a barricade that they tried to put in the corner, but it kept falling down.
They did. And they couldn't get it. Because at one point, I think he asked the ref to hold it, and then the ref was like, no, I'm not holding it. I'm not doing that.
There was cheese graters, and then Vicky, she put the cheese grater, and then she grated Bully Ray's dingo.
It was a really funny moment.
Yeah.
And then you were like, later, it's like, that's not even there. That's like on his stomach now. And it was kind of...
Because she kept working it with her way up.
Now, I think you're missing a bit, though. I think there was the part in the middle of the match, though, where Bully Ray was kind of taunting him. So he was, like, on the ground, because he went out the ring to get a mic, and he was taunting him. He's like, come on, get up.
They said the F word twice.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
He said the F word.
Oh, he probably did.
He called him an F and then a P word.
He definitely called him the P word, yes, I remember that. Oh, I didn't remember him saying the F word. Okay, I could remember that. Perhaps Bully Ray gets away with it a little bit more. Perhaps, I don't know.
Mark said it, too.
Oh, kind of weird then. Why?
Because he said, hit me with the kendo stick, and then he said it.
Yeah.
And then he hit him in the chest twice, and it sounded like
hit me
10
again.
times his top.
Yeah.
And it was so loud.
Yeah, and he's basically like, hit me there again. It's like, okay. It was done at that point. Now, you didn't mention at all, I can't believe this. This was a street fight.
No,
you haven't talked about a table. You haven't talked about the barbed wire. Oh, so you talked about the end of the match first. Now you're going to go back to the... When his wife came in, that was pretty much the end of the match.
I know. But,
So... I got one thing that I just read on here. Apparently, I don't know if we can say this. When she got the cheese grater, he shouted out, my balls!
Yeah, he did.
Have you heard that?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
It was funny. and then, like, he got, like, table, no, he brought a step stool out.
There was a step stool as well, yeah.
And then a ladder.
Uh-huh.
And then there's tables.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for the barbed wire, you could, like, before you put it on something, bend the spikes in so it won't hurt.
As much?
Yeah.
Okay. Possibly, yeah.
That would make more sense.
That'll take a long time to do, but yeah.
I know, but it wouldn't hurt at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, when he got slammed through it, the table didn't even break.
Yeah, that was because there was the board of the barbed wire, too.
Yeah, because he had to jump on him again, and then finally it did smash. And, alright, you going to talk about the ending?
So...
You kind of did, but you kind of jumped around a little bit.
After the cheese grater thing, he got, Bully Ray slammed. I think he got slammed through the table.
Bully Ray got slammed through. It actually says on here, Bully Ray was the focal point of the match. The Haskins were players in his segment. This was bad, which is depressing because Mark Haskins is one of the top 3 pure wrestlers in the company right now. I didn't think it was bad at all. I thought it was great. Yeah. I thought the crowd were totally into it as well.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Having seen this, I'm looking at F4 www.online.com. And no, I didn't get that impression at all. The crowd were totally into it. They were loving all these things that were going on. So yeah, that's kind of interesting they did that. Alright, next match was the one you referenced earlier. Alex Shelley versus Colt Cabana. Alright, go ahead.
It was a very quick match, but the only thing I really remember about it was Alex Shelley was on the floor with his feet up, and then Colt Cabana, he dived over Alex, and then his legs, like, hooked, like, over here on his, like the top of his foot. I don't know what that's called, but...
I'm not sure either.
And then he was, like, pinned in that way, which I thought it was really cool, but Colt lost, unfortunately, I think.
Colt did lose. It was a quick match. They did talk about this was going to be like a school, and it was a technical wrestling match. And, yeah, I think they said on commentary it only lasted about 3 minutes, which sounds about right. I would say that. Colt Cabana is on NWA right now, and he is actually their national champion, so that's kind of a big win for Alex Shelley for that one. But he called out Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana didn't know he was going to do that, so it's, obviously Alex had the slight advantage for this match. We liked it. We knew that Colt Cabana wasn't... We knew we weren't going to do a 15, 20... But I think that was needed. I think you need some short matches. If every match is 20 minutes, it's too much. I think you need some of those shorter matches as well, just to break up the pace a little bit. So I was perfectly okay with this. Now, around this time, though, you were asking, is there an intermission? And I'm like, I don't think so. And I was like, I don't think there is one. So I was like, we can always take our own intermission. So we're trying to work out which matches are left. I'm going through, and I'm like, well, there's Maria Manik, and you're like, well, I don't want to miss that. PCO, like, I don't want to miss that. The tag team with the Briscoes, you know, I don't want to miss that. So there was one more match that we figured we could take her. Dragon Lee and Shane Taylor. We didn't really know either of those two, so we decided that was the one we were going to take. And we thought that would probably be next.
Yeah,
it wasn't. It was Maria Manic and Angelina Love. So and Angelina Love came out with Mandy Leone as well. And I'm trying to remember what that team's called. It's got the A.
Allura.
Oh, thank you, the Allure. Now, I'd seen them at the Supercard, and I'd totally forgotten about the fact that I'd seen them there.
Yeah.
I'd mentioned that Angelina Love was going to be there because we saw her at MCW as well. And if I remember correctly, that was the first female wrestling figure that we had.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the one Jackson
Jackson's
got? Yeah, Jackson got it. How did Jackson get that one? I don't remember. Oh, was it in a Ring of Honor bag or something?
No, it was some extra thing.
Yeah, I think I got it from Ring of Honor, though. I think that was how we got it.
Yeah.
I think. Or
was
was
like
it Impact?
Extra...
I think it might have been Impact.
It was Impact.
That was how we got it.
Because we watched her on an Impact event, and then, because you were complaining that the cameraman kept zooming in on her butt.
Oh, that was one of those special... I had forgotten that, because she had a very similar theme to that one that she has with the Allure as well. We were excited to see Maria Manic. We talked about it on a recent review recently, and we knew that she was going to still be that hardcore character. You asked me, is she still with H2O Wrestling? That I don't know. I don't know if Ring of Honor contracts are exclusive or not, so I don't know. The fact that Jeff Cobb wrestles with Alpha One might suggest that perhaps you can still wrestle. I didn't think of that at the time. Perhaps you can still wrestle with other people. So, I don't know. Perhaps Maria Manic... I know you really want to go to an H2O event.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Fun.
But alright, do you want to talk about this match then?
I remember the ending. And Maria is basically like overpowering Angelina Love basically the whole time.
Yeah.
And then she gets her up into into like a Samoan drop kind of thing, and then she just bounces her up and down on her shoulders, and then
torture rack.
And then she taps her.
She did.
The thing I don't like is they call it the Women of Honor.
Okay, why don't you like that?
Because there's no Men of Honor, so they're
true.
basically like excluding the women. And there's no intergender matches.
There isn't, but yeah, I don't know if they need that. They could just call it the Ring of Honor Women's Title.
No, I know, but instead of in every match they had ROH, and then they had WOH instead. But if they wanted to do that, wouldn't they do MOH?
Well, no, the organisation's Ring of Honor. They just trying to just... I just think they could still just... This wasn't a title match or anything. I just still think they could have just called it Ring of Honor. But then when it's a women's title match, you call it a women's title match. But you don't emphasise it for every match that has a woman in it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who the current champion is. I'm not even sure if they have a title then on the basis of this, because they didn't feature it on this one. Of course, they might be having it on the Sunday event. That I don't know. We wanted Maria Manic to win this one, and we weren't disappointed. She totally overpowered the other people. We noticed one thing. One of the... I think it was the Mandy person. She came across with something, and Marie Manic just kicked it out of her hand, and it went into the crowd.
Yeah.
So I read it on here. I was trying to see what it was. It said it was a bottle of perfume, because obviously they're trying to make her all pretty and beautiful, because she wants to be part of the allure and all that stuff. One thing at the end as well, Manic took an MJF scarf from one of the fans. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're like really expensive. I remember seeing online how crazy, they're like $50, $60. And then she just walked around the ring with it. I don't know if that fan got it back. Yeah, I guess it's a cool, she gave it him back?
Yeah.
I didn't see her give it back.
She didn't give it back.
One of the other people did?
The security people.
Whew. But I'm like, they're expensive. It would make a cool story. Hey, Maria Manic took my scarf during this match, but you kind of want it back as well.
You can still say that.
You can still say that, and he got it back, but that's kind of an expensive story just for that. Alright, Dragon Lee versus Shane Taylor. This is where we left. We saw some of the match. As soon as the other match had finished, we actually went to the back as quickly as we could, so...
Teddy Hart was here.
Oh, Teddy Hart was here. Now, I actually wrote that down in my notes, I thought. So, did I write down which match? I didn't write down which one. Because I noticed, because I saw him, and then I saw the cat, and I was like... Because I said, first of all, I was like, is that Teddy Hart? Or is it someone dressed up like Teddy Hart? Because he was right on the front row, right near the entrance, and I hadn't noticed him before. And then when I saw the cat as well, and I was like, is it a fake cat, though? It could have been like a plush toy. And then he changed places. But then I noticed, because I actually asked a few people online, I was like, is that Teddy Hart? And then the wrestlers were hugging him as they left. So I was like, that must actually be Teddy Hart. Now, I actually took a few other notes, actually. I added them on my calendar because I knew that was the only piece of paper I had. I listened to Big Gold Belt podcast this morning. There was a few things that actually linked in with what we were actually watching. So, I said at the start, like, there wasn't, it was kind of sparse, there wasn't many people there.
Yeah.
I forgot to say it filled up, though, by the time the wrestling had started. I took a picture 15 minutes before, posted it, and the person originally who posted said, I jumped to conclusions, it looks like it's a pretty good crowd now. And it was. They did the same thing on AEW Dynamite this week. The person who was reviewing it, they had the same hard cam. No people on that side at all. It was just the people behind. So this isn't unique to ROH, which I didn't know about. They also talked about, as well, and we didn't mention this because we forgot, he said, man, I felt like I was in a nightclub. The strobe lights were like so bright and hitting me in the eyes. Oh, yeah. That's what we said when we were there. It was like, you kept getting blinded with all the lights they do.
So I had to warn us because they were doing circles, so it was pretty easy when to cover your eyes.
Uh-huh.
But
it was bad.
Yeah.
It reminded me of WrestleMania. There was a whole match where the fans were going, turn off the lights. They had like red and green lights and they were projecting them straight into the crowd. And the crowd couldn't see the match at all. They finally did switch them off, and then like a minute later they switched them back on again, and then they did switch them off. Now, the reason this reminded me of what I said, Teddy Hart was at AEW as well.
He was?
So I didn't know that. So we assumed, Teddy Hart's here. We know he's just been released by MLW. I guess that means he's coming to Ring of Honor. Not necessarily. He was also at AEW as well. So yeah, we don't quite know. He was there for 2-3 matches, and then he disappeared after that. So we don't quite know anything more than that. Alright, so we were talking about our intermission. We went to the back. We did see the merchandise before. We bought a colouring book for Jay, and we bought what we thought was a sticker for your door, and turned out to be a magnet, but that's fine. We put it on the fridge. It works just as well. And when we got back to... we didn't get concessions. We just went to the bathroom. There was a water fountain, which is good, so we got a drink from there. And then we went back, and we saw the rest of the match. We looked in the colouring book. It looks like it's a few years old, right?
Yeah, because Adam Cole is there. Mr. Cole.
Mr. Cole.
And
Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Hanson and Rowe. War Machine. There's quite a few people.
Cheeseburger.
I think he's still there.
Yeah.
Because his Twitter handle contains Ring of Honor. Bobby Fish. Kyle O'Reilly. But yeah, anyway.
Leo Rush
as well, yeah. Because originally I thought it was Rush, and then it was like, no, he's way too skinny on this picture. So no, it was just Leo Rush.
And he wouldn't have been there with Adam Cole.
No, he probably wouldn't have been there. And yeah, because he's only been there for a year. That was part of the main event, the fact they'd only both have been there for about a year. So anyway, we got that, we sat down. I actually don't remember much about this match at all. I was struggling to figure out who the person was. I kept saying, who's Dragon Lee facing? And then finally I did see Taylor was on the side of his outfit. So we figured that one out. Alright, anything you remember from this match at all? Otherwise, I'm just going to read the ending from here.
Shane Taylor was pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to
He was big, yeah, he was. Yeah, there was definitely a weight mismatch.
That was it?
Alright, the crowd said something special was about to happen, and after Lee smashed Taylor with another knee strike, this one was exposed, this was it. Dragon Lee is your new Ring of Honor World TV Champion. Yeah, I don't remember much about it. It was a fine match. There was nothing wrong with it, but yeah, nothing specific stood out for this one, but we missed part of it. And we didn't know the characters either, which I think that definitely makes it different. So, that was the first title match, and that's led to the second one. And this was Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham versus the Briscoes. Now, you were rooting against Jonathan Gresham for this one, and I was like, why are you doing that?
There was 3 title matches, so if Dragon Lee, he already won, that's 1 title change. Jonathan Gresham wins, 2 title changes. It would be kind of weird to have 3 title changes.
And you really wanted PCO to win.
Yeah.
So it wasn't you wanted Gresham not to win.
Yeah.
It's you wanted PCO to win more.
And that was like more because I like the Briscoes too.
And I said for this one as well, I really don't care who wins this one. I like both of these ones. I think they're good. I hadn't really seen the Briscoes. You know the Briscoes better from your Ring of Honor DVDs. It was the first time I remember seeing them. I probably saw them at Supercard, but just don't remember.
What I didn't like one of them's hair because he used to be like bald almost. He had to, like your hair. Like a 1, but then he had like weird, it was like sort of like dreads, sort of. And I didn't like it. I liked his old haircut better, and their haircut was very messy.
I don't think you like PCO's haircut either.
No, it was like one of the Indian ones, except it was too short. And like, it was like, it didn't even go down past his neck.
The Briscoes were totally over.
Yeah.
When the crowd came out, they had the hen on the screen and noise. I didn't know them. I guess they like country bumpkins type of things.
Yeah,
or they're like hillbillies.
Them boys and...
Yeah.
How many nicknames or phrases do they have? Them boys, South Fork versus everyone.
The thing that surprised me was, I thought Briscoes were heels. The Briscoes came over as being faces, and actually Gresham, who I associate more with being a face, I think him and Lethal were more the heels.
Yeah.
That was something I didn't expect for this match.
There was one thing I forgot to mention. It was really fun. Marty Scurll doing the whoop, whoop.
Oh, yeah. We think Jay would like to do that one when it comes to it. Now, one thing I liked about the Briscoes for this match, I guess this was a no disqualification match as well, because they had different items. They had a chair in the ring, and to try and get the, normally you get the clap going.
Yeah.
He had the chair, and he closed the chair together, and he started making that. I thought that was really cool. So the crowd's cheering. He then puts the chair down on the floor, runs to one side of the ring, steps on the chair, and then flips over the side. These guys are really good at the flips. All of them. There was so many of those moves, and that was the thing that probably impressed me most about the whole event. The number of flips over the top rope, and they all landed perfectly. The number of times I watch it on WWE, and it looks clunky, like he didn't catch him, or he gets him basically with just a part of his arm, and then they go down. Every single one of these looked perfect, as far as I could tell.
That reminds me of one more thing. So, in the Maria Manic match, so Angelina Love, she dived like a crossbody to Maria Manic, and she was supposed to catch there and act all strong and stuff. But instead, she was sort of like toppling over. Yeah. But then she caught herself by suplexing her when she fell, so it looked pretty good.
Oh, it looked really good. I'd totally forgotten that moment as well.
But she thankfully thought on the fly.
Considering we didn't take notes for this, we've actually done pretty well with remembering little bits. Not necessarily in order, but we've got there eventually.
It helps when you say something, and then that gets me on something else.
Alright, so what about the ending for this one? There was a lot of good moves on this one. This one went on for probably about 25 minutes or so, because we were trying to think when it's finished. I said, I think it's going to finish at 11. I think it's going to be like an 8 till 11 one, because you were looking at one point at 10:30. I was like, there's no way they're letting the tag team match go this long. That short, sorry.
And Jonathan Gresham won, and then you were super happy, and I was pretty sad.
I was really happy. I offered you a high five, and you refused it. And actually, this was when I probably noticed that Gresham was the heel more than anything else. He was throwing the streamers back at the fans, not like just nicely, like, here you go, here's one you can throw later. He was launching at the fans.
And then that's when those people started throwing them back from the trash can. Because they had like a whole trash can full.
Yeah, I got some really good pictures actually when you can see the arc with them coming over. There were some really good throws. I think that was actually Maria Manik's. Wasn't one that landed right on her shoulder? I think that was her as well. She like put her arms out and then it came and it landed right on her. There were some really good throws of those as well.
I thought that was like the Briscoes.
I don't know. Okay, no, I'm thinking of it must have been Maria Manik because I'm thinking of a woman figure. I don't think it was Angelina Love. So, all right. Anything else from that match?
No.
Alright, right, let's get to the main event then. So, PCO, this was the thing that caught my attention more than anything else. For people that don't know, or already been listening to MGB for a while, last year's Commonwealth Cup at Nova Pro, around June 2018, a 3-day event, I want to say, or it was certainly in 3 sections. I think it was Friday night, Saturday morning, and then, probably Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday evening. And PCO made a big impression on us. That first match on Friday was like, wow. And we were like, we want to get his autograph, but we didn't see him around anywhere. So I was like, I don't know how we're going to get it. So I took a picture of you stood next to the ring with your jersey, and it says, the thing I want today more than anything else is PCO's autograph, or something like that, to that effect. And he liked the tweet, and we're like, and then I think he commented, he's like, I can do that. We're like, this is great. And they had the match, and then at the end of the match, he started to leave, and then he came back, and he did. He turned your shirt around, and he signed your jersey for you.
And it made the Kenny Johnson documentary.
It did. It made the Kenny Johnson documentary as well. And so we were kind of big fans of PCO. And we were happy when he got signed with Ring of Honor, because we were like, he deserves that chance. He's been doing really well on the indies. He was the big thing. So we were happy. And I thought that would make us follow Ring of Honor. No. Didn't really happen. So, we both wanted PCO to win this one. We weren't sure, though. I mean, like you said, there's only been 2 title changes. And it seems unlikely for this one. Alright, what have you got for the person who's not human? What have you got for his match?
So, they go over to a car. Well, actually, remember, from the entrance.
Okay.
So, Roosh, he comes out, and then there's so much fire.
Yeah.
He has, like, fire for, like, 5 minutes, coming, shooting up, and then shooting in, like, balls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally gets to the ring after all the fire and stuff. And then they go out to a car, and then...
The car was in the arena.
Yeah.
It was kind of look weird. When he showed it, they flashed it up on the screen, and it made you think it was outside, and it was like, oh no, I can see the top of his head. Yeah. So they were still in the arena.
And then...
That was right on the far side. We were the furthest position away from that. There were kids who were running around the outside to get there. There was other people who were trying to move to get into position to see as well.
And so PCO got slammed on the car, and then he kept getting, like hurt and stuff by Roosh, and then he grabbed like a crowbar, and then he tried to hit Roosh with it, like full swing, but then Roosh kept getting out the way, and he accidentally smashed the window of the car.
Now, I didn't realise this. It says this is actually PCO's own car. It says it's the hearse that he drove into the arena in, so...
Obviously, it's not his
I guess other people knew, perhaps other people recognised that was his car. I didn't know. Like, Eddie Guerrero used to drive in on his car and he used to jump up and... So I guess other people might know that.
Cold.
I didn't. We thought they were hiding somebody in there who was going to actually help PCO. Yeah. That's what we thought, because we didn't really know the story about it.
And, like, Stone Cold with his dirt bike. And so they went on So, like, somebody came out and we were like... And then I forgot
PCO's guru. He's called Destro.
And so he got something from the car, and then he
jumper cables.
Yeah, he got jumper cables, and then he put it on PCO. And then he got PCO all hyped up and stuff. And then now he's not human. And then that just reminded me of something before the match. So it was like he went to they were going on the outside, and then they were getting hit, thrown in the barricades, and get whooped by cables. And then Dad asked me, and then you asked me, why wasn't that like a DQ? Or like, why aren't they counted out?
Yeah. And I already missed all the other stuff. Yeah. I was a little slow in noticing that stuff.
And so PCO, he won.
Yeah, he did. They kind of went back onto the stage for a little bit. The weird part for this one was, after the shocking and all that lot, and he also slammed him, we talked about that, Roosh went back into the ring, and then PCO just kind of followed him. Yeah. It was kind of weird. Like, normally you have to drag them, like you grab them by the ear, or you put them in a headlock, and you drag them back into the ring. They just kind of both walked back. That was about the only part of the match I didn't really like. It didn't seem perfect for that one. Let's see what else we got. PCO did a dive from the top rope, and he was trying to land on him. I don't know if he missed or caught, but he landed on the apron, and then he fell to the outside. That looked the worst landing ever.
It was kind of hard to see once they got back in the ring, because there's this one kid sign there.
Oh, yeah, he was stood on a chair, and he had a sign up as well. I was like, ugh.
Last match, there's this woman kept banging the cane on next to her seat. It was getting really annoying. It was like
It was well, I told you as well, because you kept vibrating in your seat, like jumping. I was like, that's vibrating everything. Everything went right through those chairs, but yeah, that did kind of shake a little bit. And PCO won. PCO set up a table, got hold of Rush, put him through it, and with a knees first PCO salt through the table for 3, PCO is the new champion. Now, I was really excited. You were really excited. We left. We talked about how cool that was. We didn't think that was actually going to happen. Alright, I actually saw today, apparently the overall reaction to PCO winning was negative.
What?
And I was like, what? I was like, we were cheering really loud. The whole crowd was PCO, PCO. So, yeah, somebody's like, what is wrong with you wrestling fans? You all bigged up PCO. You want him to win. And now he's won, but you're not happy about it? I was like, I don't know what's going on. I didn't see that. But it certainly seems to be some differences between people in the ring. People who are at the arena and people who are watching, I guess, on pay-per-view.
So when it got really quiet, I tried starting PCO chant like 3 times, but then it just died because I chanted it like 7 times, and then I just stopped because nobody else did.
You need a group of people, like a group of friends. You tap each other on the shoulder and like, all right, let's say PCO now, and then you go 1, 2, 3, PCO.
Except
and then
Scott can do it by himself.
He can, but there's a smaller arena there. But he's got people next to him, and you kind of know that if Scott starts, you're going to join with Scott as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little different. Now, I'm going to read a little bit from their final thoughts, because I think it's kind of interesting. First part, I kind of agree. Despite the tornado of bad publicity and reported backstage mishandling over the course of 2019, Ring of Honor delivered an above-average show tonight. Yeah, when I mentioned to somebody we're going to go to Ring of Honor, someone's like, why? Because it's a great event. It's a pay-per-view event. And somebody said, oh, is that a punishment for Mason? I'm like, no, he wants to go. So, yeah. And I've admitted that it's on the down, but I don't think I've ever said it was bad. I just said it's not as... Obviously, you don't have Young Bucks there anymore. And whatever. The only thing I disagree with their finishing on this is, aside from the gratuitous Bully Ray versus Mark Haskins street fight, each match tonight was either good or very good. I thought the Bully Murray match was fine. I have no problem with that. I would agree the matches were either good or very good. The pre-show didn't drag, absolutely, and actually ended with one of the best matches of the night, Jeff Cobb versus Dan Maff, and I think we would totally agree with that. So I think on the whole, I think we were pretty on par with what that said. Yeah. I'd be interested to see what the TV show's like. Obviously, pay-per-views are going to be slightly better. Would the TV show be enough to grab our attention? Yeah, we don't really buy pay-per-views, so I can't see us buying a Ring of Honor pay-per-view particularly, but... I've seen enough that I want to go see another one. If that's their regular thing, that they appear there in like December each year, I'm ready to go again in 12 months' time. I thought it was great. You're close to the action. The crowd was passionate. We got to see... I think one of the things that I liked about this was there was a combination of wrestlers we knew, but also wrestlers we didn't know. And I liked that we didn't know everybody, because you kind of had to learn about them and watch and pay attention and see what their style was. And we definitely found a few names that we're more interested in now as well. Certainly from that first tag team match... we did not know those people anywhere near as
Vincent.
well. We knew Marty Scurll, but I've not really seen many of his matches. Knew Flip Gordon was good, but not really seen much of him. But Bandido and Flamita, I certainly didn't know anything about
Vincent.
them. And Vincent as well, yeah. No, there was a few people who we were definitely probably the better for having watched. All right, anything else you want to add for this one?
No.
All right, we're done. Boom.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from them.
Goodbye.
The music was Zigzag by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. HTTP ://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0